Hello everyone, we're back again, and today we are going to conclude our look at the menus on the BookPort Plus, picking up right where we left off.
System Properties.
Your System Properties, this will tell you your serial number and your current firmware version. You really don't need to go in here unless you need this information when talking to technical support at APH. So let's go to the right again.
Text-to-speech voice.
We'll go into this with down arrow.
Enter. US English, Samantha.
We have US English, Samantha,
US English, Tom.
or US English, Tom. So we have a male and a female voice.
US English,
I'll go back to Samantha, and then you would choose which voice you wanted by pressing the down arrow. It's already on the one I want, so I'll just cancel out with up arrow.
Text, waiting sound.
To the right, we have our waiting sound, which is the sound that you heard when we turned on the BookPort Plus for the first time. When it scans the SD card, this is just the sound you hear when you have to wait and you can't do anything.
Enter. Waiting
I use
sound
down
1.
arrow. That's waiting sound 1. You probably recognize that sound. But there's another waiting sound. We could go to the right.
Waiting sound 2.
We have that very quiet beeping sound, which we could choose. Or we can go to the right again.
No waiting sound.
And we could have no waiting sound. And then when you needed to wait, the guide voice, she would just tell you to please wait. I want to use that second quiet beeping
Waiting
option.
sound 2.
So that's waiting sound 2.
Enter.
And I press
Set.
down arrow to save that. Since I was not on that option before, I had to change the option, which is why I used down arrow. I'm now out of the menus completely. So let's go back into the menus.
System.
This time I left arrow to system because I know it's the last menu choice. So you could either use the right arrow and pass all the other options to system, or you could just left arrow, because these menus will wrap, meaning you can continue to cycle through them. They don't have a beginning and an end.
Enter.
Down arrow opens the system menu.
Text-to-speech voice.
We've looked at these.
Waiting sound. Key press confirmation sound.
This is called key press confirmation sound.
Enter.
I went into this with down arrow.
Confirmation sound on.
On or
Confirmation
off.
sound off.
And it's where I want it now, so I'll get out of this with up
Cancel.
arrow.
Key press
If the setting is
confirmation sound.
on, this option will make the key beep every time you press any key. So if you want to make sure that you press something, that option will beep whenever you press a key. If you just want to press the key and have the unit speak normally without hearing a beep, you would turn this off. Let's go to the right.
Date and time.
Here's how you set your date and time. So I want to show you this. So let's go in with down arrow.
Enter year. 2012.
So we would set the date and time. So you would type on the keypad like you would on a phone the year. This is set right, 2012. So let's down arrow.
Enter month. July.
Enter month, July. So if you wanted to type a month, you would use 2 digits. So if you were in January through September, you would use like 0102. Down arrow again.
Enter date. 30th.
Enter date, so the day of the month. Today's the 30th, so you would type 30. Down arrow again.
Enter time with 4 digits. Press left or right arrow to select AM or PM.
And that explains that.
1:02 PM.
And this is correct, so let's down arrow
Enter
again.
1:02 PM, July 30th, 2012. Set.
And it reads the time and date that we just set, and then now when you hold the 5 key, it'll read that correctly. Let's go into the menu again.
Menu.
Left
System.
arrow.
Enter. System.
And let's just
Text.
right arrow quickly.
Waiting. Keep date and time.
And that's where the last one we went into, so let's right arrow again.
Text-to-speech pitch.
If you would rather have your voice you're listening to for text-to-speech higher or lower pitched, you can go into here.
Enter pitch setting. Pitch normal.
There's normal,
Pitch +1.
+1,
Pitch +2.
+2, etc. So this allows you to control what the voice sounds like if you're having trouble hearing it or if you prefer a different pitch. Let's get out of this with up arrow.
Text-to-speech pitch. Text input mode.
Text input mode allows you to select different options for how you type in notes. Notes is going to be its own video because it's a pretty complex. It's easy to do, but there's a lot of different steps you can do to type a note on the BookPort Plus. So we'll just go into this option when we do that video in a few weeks.
Network settings.
We have our network settings, which again we'll look at when we look at doing the network. This allows you to connect to your Wi-Fi network, and when you do that, you'll be able to send files wirelessly, listen to internet radio, and download podcasts.
Delete authorization keys.
If you use this option, you'll be able to delete any authorization keys like those for NLS and Learning Ally, and any other keys you might have, so that you will no longer be able to play specialized books. This shouldn't be needed unless you're having problems or you're sending your BookPort Plus back or selling it. So if you need to use this option, you can, but otherwise don't mess with it.
Restore factory defaults.
If you're having problems with your BookPort Plus before you call APH or do some research, you might want to try this option, which will set all your options in these menus back to the default, and you'll want to see if that will fix your problem. You go into here and it'll say, are you sure? You press the down arrow or the play pause key, and you will have your settings back to default.
System properties.
I right arrowed and we're back to system properties, and that's
Cancel
it. So
menu.
I up arrowed to get out of the system menu,
Cancel.
and I up arrowed again to get out of the menu, and you hear a double tone to let us know that we're back to where we were before, which is again a Daisy book. I realize we didn't look at every menu option. Some of them we'll go back and look at in future videos, and some of the menu options pertain to things that we haven't looked at, for example, voice memos. But this should get you started using the menus, and in the future we will look at specific options and functions on the BookPort Plus, and you'll realize how the menu options affect those items. But that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon with more videos on the BookPort Plus. If you have any feedback or questions or anything, you can send us an email at youtube@blindmobiletech.com.